You're a monster. You are acting like a monster. What's more important, personality or power? Let's talk about how to make effective comparisons in your writing using similes and metaphors. This might start simple and feel like review, but stick with me. There's an important technique to this that you are probably missing. Similes make a comparison using the words like and as. His voice was like a saxophone playing cool jazz. Her eyes were as big as dinner plates. These are similes. Metaphors make a direct comparison with exact equivalents. His voice was a saxophone playing cool jazz. Her eyes were dinner plates. So the metaphor says these things are exactly equivalent. Now, you might already know that, but here's what you've probably never heard before. Similes tend to emphasize the speaker, but they're not as strong. That like or as implies that someone is making the comparison. You're hearing an opinion. You're hearing about someone's experience. Similes tend to put the personality of the speaker or the narrator on display. A simile tells us as much about the speaker as it does about the subject being spoken about. Similes tend to broadcast, this is how someone feels. Your love is like the spring showers that raise new flowers. These mashed potatoes are like heaven. My car is like a wild stallion, sometimes fast, sometimes stubborn. All of those similes also emphasize the one speaking. These are my opinions that I'm sharing. Metaphors tend to de-emphasize the speaker and are therefore stronger. They state things as presumed facts. Your love is an impregnable cliff. These mashed potatoes are sewage. My car is a panzer, ready to rock and roll. So if metaphors are stronger, why not just use them all the time? Well, sometimes we actually want to emphasize the speaker. Maybe what we're trying to say isn't just about the information that we want to convey, but we want to emphasize who feels this way and how they feel. We want the speaker's personality and subjective experience to shine through. Also, metaphors are less organic to natural speech and storytelling. Sometimes they can overpower what's happening. There are times when the description is the focal point of your paragraph, and a metaphor is a great, strong choice. But there are other times when you want your description to decorate the dialogue or action without overpowering it, and a metaphor might be too much. We actually see this strength in play in the way that we argue with other people. Here's a tip. If you're arguing with someone and your intention is actually to find agreement, you should use similes and not metaphors. You're a monster is a metaphor. We are making an exact equivalency between you and a monster. I'm stating it as an irrefutable fact statement, and frankly, it's going to shut down any further real discussion from happening and turn our argument into a shouting match. Now, what if we change it to a simile? You are acting like a monster. That communicates that I perceive your actions to be similar in some ways to a monster. Because it's a simile, it emphasizes that this is my subjective experience of your present behavior, but it doesn't necessarily condemn you with an objective declaration of the truth like a metaphor does. So whether you're writing a poem, a vignette, or a scene, ask yourself, what's more important to that scene? Strength or personality? Similes and metaphors aren't just an academic distinction. It's not just something that you need to learn in a classroom so you can take the test. Similes and metaphors actually accomplish different things, even though they both make comparisons. Metaphors build strength. Similes remind us that someone is holding this opinion and expressing a subjective belief. So the question comes down to this. Are you trying to emphasize the speaker's personality and personal experience, or do you want to bulldoze forward and establish an irrefutable truth? And hey, if you like writing, there's a lot more to learn. So like, subscribe, share it with a friend, do all the stuff, and let's keep talking.